I think people, when they think Idaho and they've never been here, they think potatoes. Yeah, we don't grow potatoes here. This is mountains and rivers and lakes. It's just an absolutely gorgeous part of the world. Typical day, good question. Get up in the morning, we go to work, we come home, we go to sleep, we get up, we go to work.
Hello.
Just kind of repeats that way several times throughout the week.
Sleepy?
Maybe take the dogs for a walk.
Come on, baby. Let's go.
Good girl.
Are you going to sleep?
Michelle had never owned a house when we met, and that was her dream. So we set that goal. In 5 years, that's what the plan is. We'll have a house.
So I have June's spreadsheet, but we got July coming up.
My wife and I were looking at starting our own business, and we had started that whole process, already thousands of dollars into getting this business up and going. And then we found out that, this particular family member, they were in a vehicle accident. And in Montana, when you're in a vehicle accident like that and the airbags are deployed, I guess it is mandatory that they do a body scan if you're taken to the hospital, which they did. And that's how this particular, medical issue was found out. And that's how we found out. Unfortunately, there was only at that time a handful of doctors in the U.S. that were able to perform this type of surgery needed. So it was a matter of trying to get us out there, get the family member out there, get, everything around this situation to get this resolved. I took a month off of work. My wife took a month off of work. And by the time everything was said and done, we ended up about $104,000 in debt. I think we were more happy with the fact that it seemed that the medical side of things had been taken care of with a very good prognosis at the end of that. Now we have to figure out what to do financially. We had to make the hard decision of, let's talk to a bankruptcy lawyer and see what our options are. And bankruptcy lawyer's like, no, there's absolutely no way in a lifetime you'll ever pay this back. So. I think you're scared at that point, okay, how do we not lose the house? I guess they say, the 5 stages of grief, well, it's probably that many that go with bankruptcy too. So you get to the point of okay, how do we finally, what do we have to do to get this fixed? Preparing for bankruptcy is what they don't teach you. And it's a tremendous amount of work. It's also very invasive. I mean, we had to go around and put a value to everything that's in the house, literally. They want to know what you have. They want to know what its dollar worth is at that time. As devastating as this is, it also gives us a way of restarting everything again.
Oh, good job.
It took us realizing if we were going to rebuild our credit, it was going to take more than just paying your bills on time. There's not a lot of companies out there that are willing to take the risk on somebody, they just filed bankruptcy, can't trust them. Michelin was one of those companies. I remembered reading something when I was researching it about them really specializing in helping people rebuild credit. And at that time, I want to say that credit limit on my card was only like $400, which was, to me, right about where I wanted to see it. That's both vehicles. Why do you
that's
have that
both
on there
vehicles.
twice?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you notice how much it went down as far as the expenses going out?
The goal is let's keep it small. Let's keep it at a rate that that you can't get in trouble again with. But your goal at that point at bankruptcy should be to rebuild that credit, to get that trustworthiness back. You can pretty much see why we have certain things over here that would be projects versus what we have actually for goals. A goal for us typically involves something that is going to require more thought process put into it and what you're willing to spend to accomplish that, versus a project is Okay, the grass needs cut. Great. Who's going to do it? That's a project. I think the number one thing on the goal board at that time was rebuilding credit. We got rid of this. We kept this. All right. Was there anything that we had to get rid of that we now want to put back on our goal list again?
Well, I think we talked about going to Mexico, didn't we?
Yeah, because they had what, Cabo?
Works for me.
Eventually, things start getting easier. You know, as you start hitting some of those little basic goals again, when you start seeing your credit score start to rise up there a little bit again, a little bit at a time. We don't set any of our goals over 5 years. I think it's a realistic time frame. When you set goals that are beyond 5 years, it's too easy to become disappointed if you're not hitting it at a certain rate. You still need to be prudent and do the best you can to put yourself in the best position possible. And that's what we've done. Again, we just refinanced the house. That was on our goal board, debt-free except for the house. So if we can help, just even a handful of people would be great with me. Having those resources to be able to reach out, hey, I know you went through that. Being able to help somebody else out get through this process. We had to learn it on our own, had to figure it out ourselves. It just got a little bit easier as time kept going, and now we're back, hopefully in a shape we were, probably better than we were before the bankruptcy. But I think when you go through something like that together, it'll show the other one what the other one's made of. So, are you going to fall apart, or are you going to be able to stay strong? And it took both of us to stay strong.
Don't worry, babe, we'll get through this together.
Teamwork.
Teamwork, absolutely.
Teamwork makes the dream work.